Welcome to Boss Up. Get ready to elevate your game with your dynamic hosts. First up, we have the visionary powerhouse, Dan D. Johnson, who's a failure transformation expert and a financial literacy and business coach with a wealth of knowledge to help you scale and grow. And joining him is the inspiring and charismatic Shada Amour, your corporate expert and life coach, ready to share insights on leveling up your life and relationships. Together, they'll guide you on a journey to unleash your potential and boss up. Now, welcome Shada Amour and Dan D. Johnson.
Hey!
What's up?
Hey! What's going on?
What's going on? We are back another day, like the second day in a row.
And you got me in this boring place because you wasn't feeling my High Park vibe yesterday. I was vibing, y'all.
No. That was too much. That was too much for all of us. It was music. It was people talking in the background.
That's a party. That's what's up.
This is not. I guess it was Memorial Day, so
it's
we
Memorial
were ready
Day
for the barbecue, and we weren't quite there.
Let's go. Well, let's go. It's Boss Up Marathon Day 2. Yesterday was off the chain. We had a branding expert that was on thebrandwell.com, thebrandwell.com. I'm telling you, if you want to get branded well, I need you to go to thebrandwell.com. It was great information, great insight. I've gotten
it was amazing.
Got a lot of positive feedback. And so today, y'all, we're talking about that money. I've been talking about this, y'all. We not gonna even play with it. We gonna get him on to the stage. Cause listen, I've been talking about this young man.
And we're bringing on.
Listen, don't bring him on yet. Did nobody tell you you're moving too fast? Let me set it up. I'm gonna set it up.
I'm sorry.
I had to take him off the stage.
I'll send him back to the green room. He's going back to the green room.
He's going back, y'all, to have caviar. He's going back to the green room where he's having caviar and Perrier. So check this out. Y'all. Listen, I've been talking about this young man for the past couple of weeks since we've been talking about Boss Up Live, Boss Up Marathon. And I've been telling you he was coming. And I started out with this young man with his mama, baby daddy. That's right. His mama, baby daddy. That means his father, his mama's husband. And so, and listen, Amor just asked me, how long have I been working with them? And I said, when I was 18 years old, I was at Chicago State University, and I sat in a class, an accounting class, and his father was my accounting teacher, Mr. Vincent Osaghae. And I learned so much about business in that class, just how his father thought and how he presented the content. And he became my accountant at the age of 18. Well, y'all, I'll be 49 in less than 2 weeks, and he's still my accountant today. So it's now been about 30 years that Osaghae and Associates have been my accountant. They have helped me. Listen, they have been my get out of jail free card. I'm trying to tell you, they might get out of jail free. Well, they ain't free, but they might get out of jail free card. And what's so beautiful and amazing is that we're going to hear, I've had his dad on different opportunities with us on the life table and things of that nature. But today we're going to hear from the second generation of Osaghae and Associates, who now I spend most of my time communicating with when I have to. But guess what? He is now communicating with my son, and they are handling the business together. So it's just an amazing thing. I'm getting goosebumps as I talk about it. So I'm not going to talk any further. But what I want to do is I want to introduce to the stage none other than Osama Osaghae of Osaghae and Associates. They are CPA and they don't play, baby. Come on, bring them to the stage, y'all. Bring them to the stage. What's going on?
Thank you, Dan, for that great introduction. I really appreciate it. But yeah, as Dan has said, my name is Osama Osaghae, CPA here at Osaghae and Associates. We've been doing good accounting work for about 30 years plus. We're in the Chicago area, and we also have an office out here in Northwest Indiana. So take care of all your accounting, tax, audit, and bookkeeping needs. Here we go.
Man, well, welcome to Boss Up. Boss Up. Did you like our intro?
Yeah, that was a great intro.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you. Yeah, so welcome to Boss Up. This is the Boss Up Marathon. And so if you don't know Osama, Boss Up is really just something that a good colleague of mine, my sister, the girl that wears pink, she in pink, y'all, with the purple lipstick, like Purple Rain. We have been rolling together. She and I have been rolling together for nearly 15, 16 years now, or better, doing business and things of that nature. And so we thought that it would not be robbery to create a platform where we have the ability to coach, help train and develop entrepreneurs and do it live. So when other people are watching, or when they watch the replay, we get more replay than anything. When they're watching the replay, they're learning just like the person that we're coaching. So our goal is to boss people up. And I know for a fact that you guys have been bossing me up for a long time. I'm talking about from my dry cleaning business, my restaurant business. You guys have always been there at the forefront. And today we got something else that's about to drop. Shh. We can't tell nobody this yet. We got something else that's about to drop. Y'all will be hearing the announcement. I'm super excited about it. So I'm going to pass because I can ask you a million questions. I'm going to let Moore kick off this discussion as we help some of the entrepreneurs that are listening boss up their money.
Okay, well, first, you told us where you're located, but how do people get in touch with you? Because we know that getting our money in order is the most important thing. So how do we get in touch with you if we need help with accounting, bookkeeping, just making sure we're legal, our structures are set up correctly? What's the best way to get in contact?
The best way to contact us is either by phone or by way of our website. Our phone number is 773-881-8080. That is 773-881-8080. Or you can reach us by our website, and that is osaghae.com. That is spelled OSAGHAE.com.
Okay, I'm putting that in there. Okay, so I'm just getting started. Say I'm just getting started with my business. What are the most important things I need to keep in mind?
That's a good question. And that's a good question that every entrepreneur should be asking. A lot of folks just jump into their business without kind of asking key questions to get a clearer picture of how they should operate. So I can go into about 5 key accounting principles that every entrepreneur should know. Not just to survive, right, but to grow and lead a financially healthy business. Okay. So the first one I would say is to keep great records, right? Most people look at accounting as a chore, right? That's why they hire other people to do it. But if you're just starting out, the best way to do it is to have a system in place to where you know kind of how everything is moving, right? So you treat it like an investment, not a chore, right? If you're in a business, this isn't something that you're just doing willy-nilly. This is things you're putting time into and efforts into. So you got to treat it like an investment. So whether it's using like QuickBooks or a spreadsheet to keep track of every transaction, that's kind of the first step to do so, right? So you want to make sure that everything's in order so that when it's time for tax time, you kind of have your records in order so that a CPA doesn't have to charge you up the wall for doing the bookkeeping. You've already done it throughout the year and you have it ready to go. Clean books means faster funding, smarter decisions, and less pain during tax season. So that's number one.
Okay, so can I ask you a question about that?
Yeah, of course.
So books cost money, right? So, but if I'm just getting started, you're saying I can just use an Excel sheet. Well, what should be on my Excel sheet? Like if I don't have the finances to pay for QuickBooks yet, but I want to keep my stuff in order, what should be on this Excel sheet?
That's a good question. So you can have like 2 tabs, right? One for income, one for expenses. And the money that you bring in, you go ahead and list out the date you brought it in, who it was from, and what it pertains to if you have different sources of income within one business. And then for the expense side, again, the same thing. You go ahead and list the date, the type of expense where you purchase something from, and the nature of that expense. Is it advertising? Is it supplies? Is it cost of goods sold, stuff like that, so that when it's time for tax season, the accountant can kind of just take all those numbers, reflect them on your tax return, make sure you're taking all the tax deductions and credits that are applied to you, and you go from there.
So I got a follow-up question. Because you know me, I be tripping.
Yeah.
So you wasn't supposed to agree with that. You're still, hey, I'm still your elder. Yeah, I got kids your age. I'm still your elder. No, but check this out though. Some bank accounts allow you, when you're spending, if it's a business account, it tracks your expenses and it tracks your income for you.
Correct.
I know a lot of times when I'm trying to help expedite the process, I look at all my bank accounts, and then I just simply put all the expenses right here, all of the income right here. But someone that may struggle like me, that lives a very, very busy life, they're probably not going to go to that Excel sheet. Now, Amor is going to the Excel sheet.
All right.
I may not make it to the Excel sheet. Can I just send you my bank statement, or have you connected to our bank statement, and then you could extract the expenses and income from there?
Yes. Now that is if you have the money to pay for a QuickBooks system and go from there. The risk, however, there is that you're only trusting one source of information, right? So if the bank makes a mistake, you're not going to be able to know that because you're relying on the bank's information. That's why it's also beneficial to keep your own record, so that every month you compare the two to see if everything that you've recorded is matching along with your bank statement.
Thus called account reconciliation.
Correct. That's called account reconciliation, which is a performance, or which is a procedure that accountants take in bookkeeping to make sure that your records agree with the bank's records. And if not, you go ahead and investigate any discrepancies.
So that spreadsheet is like checking a checker.
Correct.
That QuickBooks is like checking a checker.
Correct.
Got it. So listen, y'all, check the checker.
Check the checker. You know?
All right. Number two, what we got?
Number two, I would go ahead and say the second most important thing is keeping your business and personal finances separate.
Woo! That's big. That's big.
You know, it's one of the fastest ways to create accounting and legal nightmares, right? The best way to do it is just open a business account. It's free. You just go to the bank, say, hey, I have a business. I want to open this account, and do all of your transactions in there. Now, sometimes you may not have your business credit card or debit card on hand, and 1 or 2 times in a month or so, you may have to use your personal card, which is fine. But as long as you're really keeping those two separate, it'll make sure that your books are audit ready, and then it protects your liability as well.
Well, so now let's talk about that, because I remember many, many years ago, your dad taught me that very, very early on. No, Danny, you have to keep it. Yeah, he wasn't playing with it. And I remember having a conversation with someone, because my personal account was like low. It was like low. But my business account had money. And so this individual knew what was in both accounts. Okay. So they said, why don't you just take the money from the business account and do that? I said, no, because then you could go out of business. Not only go out of business, but there are some liabilities, correct, legal liabilities, that you can run into when you put the personal hand in the business pot. Explain to us some of those liabilities.
Well, the most is when, let's say, you get sued or you're in the legal courts and whatnot, and you go ahead and commingle those funds. What could potentially happen is, instead of just coming from having the judge assess assets being removed from your business entity that you have specifically set up, the business assets, if you're commingling personal and business, they might treat those as one and the same and can also come after you personally. Right. So any money or assets you have outside of the business may be subjected to liability as well.
So let's talk about that real quick. Make certain that everyone has a clarity of mind and understanding. So let's say you have a bona fide legal business entity. And the purpose of having a separate entity is to create separation from you, your personal assets, and your business. But if there becomes commingling of funds, if there becomes cross interaction with funds, then now and let's say you were sued, and we live in a very litigious society. 52 lawsuits are filed, I believe, every second in this United States of America we're in, and it may be even more now considering our, political climate. Yeah. So the question becomes: so what you're saying is, and if those records was subpoenaed, and there was a financial audit that was done, both personal and business, and they saw that there was an interaction and a commingling of funds, then that interaction, that simple interaction, could make your personal assets, which is your homes, your cars, everything that you have, liable for a business issue.
That could potentially happen, yes.
Wow. Wow. So listen, don't rob Peter, the business, to pay Paul, the person.
Right.
And if you do, you want to make sure you have a formal process of paying yourself, right? Have a contract. This business is paying Peter this amount of money, so that you have legal documentation just in case an audit or litigation were to happen.
Or because we know in business sometimes your personal account may need to loan money.
That's correct. Yeah.
So, but you got to indicate it, and you should. And here's the deal: but indicating it should be some form of notes payable.
Correct.
That should be indicated between yourself and the business that says this is a loan, this is what the payment is. And then when you're putting money back into, or when you're pulling money out of it, you should indicate that this is a loan reimbursement.
Correct.
Because if not, whenever you pull money out of your business account, transfers it over personally, or you go and pull out cash, how does IRS look at that?
They can look at that as you pulling money out as a distribution, right? So like an owner's contribution or distribution, that's, again, is a legal business transaction, but when it's up for litigation, it could be scrutinized, essentially.
Would they also potentially consider that as income by which they can tax?
They can consider that as income, which they can tax on your personal side. That is correct.
And here it is, you was just paying yourself back, and now you're getting taxed.
You're getting taxed on that money.
Documentation is important. Number 3, what we got?
Let's go to number 3. I would say cash flow is king. Cash flow is king. Cash flow is king. Can't emphasize that enough. Because most entrepreneurs, they focus on revenue and profit, but what really keeps your business alive is cash, right? So most folks, there's 2 kind of financial reports. One is the profit and loss, then you have the balance sheet. Most entrepreneurs focus on the profit and loss. Am I bringing more money in than I am spending, which is a good key performance indicator to keep track of, right? And if you're profitable on paper, you could potentially go bankrupt if your cash isn't there. If you have no cash to operate your business, how do you operate your business, right? So it's important to track how money moves in and out, but you also want to be conscious of how much cash you have at one time at a certain point in time.
So cash flow is king. So I think Miss Jesus calling.
No worries.
Oh, okay. I thought Jesus called. I was going to stop. So let's talk to him. But if cash flow is king, and we got to manage cash flow, what is one of the best things that any business owner, entrepreneur, or even somebody that's governing a household, what is a key tool to help manage cash flow?
There's a few tools. Are you trying to get at one point here? Or is that a question that you're asking?
No, that's actually a question that I'm asking. I have a point.
I want to know what are the few?
Yeah. What are the few tools?
Well, a few are, things that can make your cash work for you. So things that aren't risky, that you can make your cash go ahead and work for you, whether that's investments, whether that's a high yield savings account, something you can park your cash in and know it's there and have it also work for you and earn that income.
So let me ask you this. How important is a budget to the scope of managing cash flow?
A budget is probably the first and most important thing. And that goes again with their records, right? So coming up with a budget, coming up with a plan of how much you expect to spend, how much you expect to bring in, and how much you expect to save are all important when it comes to compromising that budget.
All right, I got another question. Then more, you can have a question. This is my subject. I like this. I'm learning some stuff. So check this out. Osama, if you mentioned high yielding savings accounts, and the purpose of a high yielding savings account you talked about is where you have it parked there and it's actually still making money.
Correct.
The goal, people, that those of you that are listening, is not for you to work for money for the rest of your life.
Correct.
But for you to figure out how to make your money work for you.
Correct.
So for every time you make money, the question becomes, how can I hire this money to go and work for me? And so some of us, we put our money in a regular bank account, savings account that's going to give us less than 1% interest on return. But high yielding savings accounts give you 3, some 5% interest, data based on where the market is at that time. But the money is constantly growing. And so when you look at cash flow, I think it's important to understand before you can even know what you can invest, you got to know what you got coming in and you got to know what's going out. And that's what the budget is all about. It's tracking your revenue against your expenses. So here, you got any other questions on that, Miss Moore?
No, I just love the tools that he also talked about the high yield savings account, because I think sometimes, people just have their money sitting in accounts that's not earning them anything. And I just think that was such a great point.
And I can
It's
link.
something that it doesn't take a lot to do that, to make that switch, do that. So I love that.
Yeah, we're in the 21st century now. So a lot of these places, it's just a matter of signing up, putting in your account routing number, and transferring money over. In 5 minutes, you're done. So I can definitely link some good high yield savings accounts to the folks watching to go ahead and sign up and, again, start making your money work for you.
Come on, link us up. Link us up so we can boss up. Link us up so we can boss up.
Most definitely.
All right, so number 4, what we got?
Number 4, this kind of relates to cash is king, but you want to know your numbers, right? And that goes back to, although profit is important, it's not the same as cash, right? So entrepreneurs like to think that a sale equals success, but not all revenue is created equal. So you need to understand your key performance indicators like your gross profit, your margins, and your net income. You have to be clear about what's actually left after the expenses, right? Because like I said, there's different forms of revenue. So you may have performed a service, but you may not have gotten paid for it yet, right? So an accounting standpoint, that's considered revenue, but you haven't received the cash for it. Now, if you have a whole bunch of sales that you've completed work for and haven't received the cash for it yet, are you really doing well in your business, right? That goes back to cash is king. So just remember, cash timing matters. A profitable sale that hasn't been paid doesn't pay the bills, and you just need to be keeping track of those key indicators like I had mentioned.
I was looking at something at our accounts receivables, and our accounts receivables seem like, man, okay, we're doing very well on paper, but then there's this thing called being cash poor.
Correct.
When you look in your bank account and there's no cash. And so this is where we, as a small company that has somewhere around 12 to 14 people that's working for us, as you know, we have to start rotating the payroll, getting people off payroll, not firing them, but getting them off payroll. Why? Until we could collect the cash flow so that we could be able to pay them. And so this is why. So how important is having a cash reserve or having a line of credit that's available exclusively, not to go buy Gucci and Uwe, not to go on vacation and and all that kind of stuff, but having this cash reserve and or a line of credit that you pull from during times where your accounts receivables are slowly coming in.
Important. And I would lean towards the cash reserves rather than the line of credit, because the line of credit, they're going to see that you have cash before they give you that line of credit. So cash reserves is definitely number one on that list. And before even going to business as a new entrepreneur, you definitely want to make sure you have that reserves, whether it's 10% of a budgeted number you have in your head, 5%, 20%, just in case if anything happens, you know you're safe with those reserves. I'm also a real estate investor. Been in my property for about 4 years now. And the first thing I did for about 6 to 7 years before I knew this was coming up was let me make sure I have enough reserves before I enter in this transaction. Because if anything happens, whether it's a roof, water heater, something I need to spend a lot of money on, I know I'm ready. I know I'm set. So definitely having a cash reserve is imperative to starting out as a new entrepreneur.
And so how do you build a cash reserve? I'm just starting out. And obviously, man, I'm working hard out here. The money is coming in. A lot of times money go out faster than it comes in because we know the only thing guaranteed in business is expenses. Everything else is a result of prayer, tears, and sweat. So what's a good formula that we could use to build up our cash reserve?
It depends on your goals. So let's say you want to save about $10,000 before you embark on your business, and you already have like a 9-to-5 job, right? And you get paid like, let's say $4,000 a month, and you want to hit this $10,000 goal at a certain point. Let's say within a year, right? So if it's within a year, you take that 10,000. Well, let's use 12,000 to make math easy, right? So let's say you got 12,000 you want to save. So every month you want to save $1,000. Well, then you know how much you need to save based on your paycheck. So if you're able to save $1,000 a month from your regular job, you know you'll have at the end of the year you'll have enough cash reserves to go ahead and embark on that entrepreneurial journey.
Got you. And here's something that I use all the time. Not all the time, but I seek to use. I seek to invest back 20 to 33% of whatever the profit is in the reserve. Now, remember, profit is defined by income, and I'm giving a basic definition. Income or revenue minus expenses equal profit. Now, so after you take in all your revenue, after you take in all your expenses, and you pay all of your expenses out, whatever that number is left over is considered profit, right? So now I take
considering you make more than you spent. Yes,
absolutely. Now, if it's a deficit, then that means you got to balance your budget. Correct. And how do you balance your budget? You got to increase income and reduce expenses. Correct. Me personally, I think people should become masters of reducing their expenses, opposed to increasing income. Because if your mindset says, let me just make more money, and the more money I make, the more money I spend, then guess what? You're going to be in this never-ending cycle of being broke. So what you want to do is take a percentage for your cash reserves. You want to take a percentage for your cash reserves. All right, so that's the fourth thing. You said you had 5 keys.
5. What is the final 5?
Let's go.
This is the last one here. I wish I had more. I have a bunch more, but time permits me to only get 5. So the last one here is don't wait until tax time to think about taxes. Now, I was featured in the Sun Times a few months ago speaking about the same thing here around tax time because it's very important. A lot of people get distracted throughout the year. They're unorganized. They don't have a system in place to keep all of their documents in a specific folder, a specific cloud drive to where every time they're getting something tax related, they're putting it into that folder. It's very important, right? It's not something you do in April when taxes are coming. It's something you do all year. So whether you have an accountant or a CPA in your book, you definitely want to work early to choose the right business structure for your business. You want to work with them early to maximize any deductions that will apply to you in your entrepreneurship. And you also want to work with them to stay compliant, right? So you got to understand all your obligations, whether it's self-employment tax, whether it's payroll, sales tax, if you're selling goods, and plan accordingly. A proactive tax strategy can save you thousands rather than trying to catch up. You're late on your taxes. You got penalties and interest accruing. That's definitely something you want.
And you're not able to properly vet the document, especially if you got a lot of transactions.
Correct.
That's going in. I mean, sometimes I give our accountants a headache. I try to work it where they have access to the bank accounts. They got access to all my credit cards. They got access to what else y'all got access to? Y'all got access to all the QuickBooks system. But even still, after having all of that, there's still time where you have to go in and sit down and go over transactions and get clarity of understanding. And if everything is a rush, and if everything is I need it yesterday, it opens up the door to miss opportunities, which could cost you more in your tax liability. One of my students, Christelle Anderson, she said guilty. She's also somebody I referred to you, just so you know. She probably have called. Got a wonderful store out in Orland Park, Marvelous Light Candle. And so she's a budding entrepreneur, made her first year anniversary about a couple of weeks ago. And so we super excited and proud of Crystal doing her thing. Started from the bottom, now she here. Hey, started. I'm sorry. Osama conservative. I forgot I was supposed to be conservative, Dan. Hold on one second. Gotta be conservative. Okay. All right. Yes, sir. So this has been a really great time together. Really talking about accounting, and this has been absolutely amazing. I am really grateful.
I cannot with you.
No, this has been good stuff. We got to bring you back, man.
Anytime.
Because it is so much more to uncover about.
Yes.
And let me tell y'all something. Let me just say this. And I'm not making no knock at any H&R Block. I mean, I'm not making no knock of any tax services. I'm not. I learned a long time ago. If my accountant is not a CPA, then I don't play. Here's the deal. The tax laws are always changing.
Always.
Here it is. What you don't know can hurt you. And the law is not going to benefit you if you don't know it. They know the law. Remember, I told y'all his father was an accounting teacher at a university and a dean of accounting. Why is that important? He knows all of it because he has to teach it, which means which means when you bring your tax stuff to them, they know how to save you money. There's more than 300 legal allowable tax deductions for the small business owner. We don't know what those 300 taxes are, but they do. He'll tell you, I didn't got so lazy fooling around with them. I don't want to know. Y'all know it. Figure it out. Tell me how much money I don't have to pay. That's the deal. So call Osaghae and Associates. Go to www.osaghae.com. Y'all see, I've been rolling with them a long time. Go there right now and connect with a CPA accountant. I'm gonna tell this last little story. A colleague of mine told them you're at an economic income level now where you can't go to your friend in the basement that's doing taxes. They didn't listen to me. I said, go to see a CPA. They didn't listen to me. They kind of cheated on the system, talking about, oh, nobody gonna know. People do it all the time. And they wind up with an audit that cost over $40-something thousand. And of course, the person in the basement is nowhere to be found. Stop going to the person in the basement. Stop going to the commercial chains. Go get you a CPA, my CPA, the one that don't play, Osaghae and Associates.
There we go.
I'm just saying. Have y'all been bossed up today? I pray that y'all have been bossed up. Woo! Bossed up, baby. We're going to bring Osama back. I'm telling you, y'all heard what he said. I need y'all. I want to know. I'm awaiting a new link to my email to sign up. Mine expired, ready today. Help me, please. So they reached out to you already, Osama.
Okay.
And you guys sent them a link to sign up, but theirs expired. So they're gonna connect back. Just connect back as soon as he get off the air. Yeah, I mean, off the line, and they'll get you straight, Cristal. All right. Hey, listen, this has been absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. You guys are doing amazing work. Absolutely love it. Man, that was powerful. I'm trying to tell you.
That was fire. I learned so much.
That's because you're a student.
I got some stuff to get together though.
Yeah, you got to get your stuff together. You got to get some stuff together. Oh, he's gone now, right? All right, I can loosen up a little bit. I can loosen up. He's not with us no more. Woo, I couldn't breathe. Woo, yeah, I couldn't breathe at first. No, this has been good. Man, who we got tomorrow? Tomorrow we
are working on our credit, getting our credit in order. Okay, so that we can get funding and all of that stuff to be able to do the business that God has given us. So tomorrow, it's all about getting that credit together.
You know what I want to do? I'm excited about that. Listen, y'all, credit is your credibility, your credit score for many times helps to determine your credibility when it comes to dealing with folk that deals with money. That's so you got to make certain that you are credit worthy. That means you have a certain level of credibility. Because if not, you won't get the deal done. And folk now that folk is not asking for 600, 620. That's bad credit in the sight of folk now.
Right.
The floor is 680 and above. And so you used to could get stuff done with less than 680. Now you can't. Some folk won't even talk to you unless you got a 700 credit score. You can't even get a job with some companies when they run your credit score and they see that your credit, because that says you're irresponsible. That's the story that the data is saying, whether it's true or not. So this is gonna be a hot topic, y'all. It's gonna be a hot topic. So y'all gonna be there tomorrow. Boss Up Marathon. I need y'all that's watching this. I need you to like it. I need you to comment. I need you to share it because we want to help some people to boss up, baby. Let's go, boss up, boss up, boss up. And then look, y'all be checking out my social media platforms because I got a big announcement that's getting ready to happen. It's getting ready to happen. I got a big announcement. I'm super pumped. Y'all know I'm a serial entrepreneur, keyword serial, other keyword pray. So we got something that's getting ready to come up that's going to be absolutely epic. And I'm super excited about it, but I can't tell you just yet, but it's coming.
All right. It's coming. Can't wait to hear it.
That's something brewing. All right. Until next time, hit the music.
And that wraps up another empowering episode of Boss Up. Join Dan D. Johnson and Shada Moore on the next episode of Boss Up. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and follow Dan and Shada on all social media platforms for more insights and inspiration to boss up your life. Until next time, remember to keep shining, keep grinding, and always boss up.